Speaking of my grandmother, Grandma was Lakota Sioux. She moved east to Baltimore and met my grandpa at 22. They stayed together evermore. She never wore her native clothes, her buckskin or her beads. It was more easy, I suppose, to pass as Portuguese. 'Cause back in those times of piety, somebody would sling mud if Baltimore society knew she had Indian blood. It was the Second World War. Many soldiers passed her door, and she'd stare at every thread of wool in the coats those young men wore. She had an old blue blanket her own grandmother made, the only thing from the Black Hills I thought she ever saved. She'd wrap it all around her when evenings would get cold, and she loved that old blue blanket more than anything she owned. She'd take that blanket with her when we'd go to Horseneck Beach. I can still see her shake the sand off it just before we'd eat. She'd set out sandwiches and lemonade that was always ice cube chilled, but it was there I noticed stitches where some buttonholes had been filled. And one time I saw it drying on the clothesline in the sun, and I swore I heard loud voices. I turned around and saw no one. At the '69 Woodstock Festival, upon it I did sit. My grandmother passed away that year, and I inherited it. She had an old blue blanket her own grandmother made, the only thing from the Black Hills I thought she ever saved. She'd wrap it all around her when evenings would get cold, and she loved that old blue blanket more than anything she owned. Grandma left a wooden box her lawyer gave to me. Inside was an eagle feather, a bear claw, and a diary. And the last words said, "My old blanket is much more than a rag. It's all that I could show from the heritage I had. That heavy cloth I treasured is made from uniforms worn by Custer soldiers at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. There were many blankets made from the coats of those dead men, and they got our people through bad winters time and time again. And though we finally lost our land, we kept our dignity. We take those blankets out like flags and fly them secretly. So please honor that fabric for both sides in that war, and remember, you got roots there too. That's what I saved it for.